By the early 1800s, London had become the largest city in the world, home to over 1 million people packed into a sprawling metropolis where coal smoke mixed with winter fog, where gaslight flickered against December darkness, and where wealth and poverty existed side by side on frozen streets. In this video, we use modern AI tools to bring historic paintings and engravings to life, allowing us to shift perspective, change camera angles, and move through the same Christmas scenes in ways their original artists never could. First, I want to talk about what made a Victorian London Christmas unlike anything we experience today. This is Regent Street in December 1848. Gas lamps had recently replaced oil lamps, casting harsh white light across pavements crowded with shoppers, street vendors, and carriages. The wealthy arrived in private coaches to browse shop windows, displaying exotic goods from the British Empire, silk from India, tea from China, carved ivory. But step just a few streets away, and you'd find families huddled in single-room tenements, burning whatever scraps they could find to stay warm. What strikes me most is the smoke. Every chimney poured coal smoke into the December air until it mixed with river fog to create what Londoners called a pea souper, a thick yellowish-brown smog that could reduce visibility to just a few feet. Charles Dickens knew this London intimately. His descriptions of Christmas weren't romanticized fantasies, but observations of a city where the season amplified both generosity and suffering. The River Thames in winter was London's lifeline and its sewer simultaneously. This view shows the frozen Thames during the Great Frost of 1814, the last time the river froze solid enough to hold a frost fair. Londoners walked across the ice while vendors set up temporary shops, printing presses, roasting fires. An elephant was even led across near Blackfriars Bridge, but the Thames wasn't freezing because of colder weather. The old London Bridge had been demolished in 1831, and without its narrow arches constricting water flow, the river flowed faster and never froze again. Below the ice, beneath the festivities, the Thames carried raw sewage from over 1 million people. Cholera outbreaks were common, though no one understood the connection between contaminated water and disease. This scene shows Trafalgar Square on Christmas Eve, 1843. The National Gallery rises behind the square, completed 9 years earlier. At the center stands the base of Nelson's Column, still under construction. It wouldn't be finished until 1843, with the bronze lions added even later in 1867. 1843 was the year Charles Dickens published A Christmas Carol, fundamentally reshaping how England celebrated Christmas. Before Dickens, Christmas had been fading as a major holiday. Industrialization had eliminated traditional rural law. Celebrations and many factories treated December 25th as just another working day. Dickens revived it, and within years, Christmas became a time for family gatherings, charitable giving, and decorated trees. The workhouses of London at Christmas were as grim as Dickens described. This image shows the Whitechapel workhouse around 1850. Families who couldn't support themselves were separated upon entry. Men, women, and children housed in different wings, forbidden from seeing each other even on Christmas Day. In exchange for shelter and meager food, inmates performed hard labor, oakum picking, separating rope fiber by fiber until their fingers bled, stone breaking, bone crushing for fertilizer. Christmas dinner might include a slightly larger portion of bread, perhaps some meat, but nothing resembling celebration. Poverty was seen as a moral failure, and relief was deliberately made so unpleasant that only the truly desperate would accept it. The British Museum at Christmas appears in this painting from 1858, its grand neoclassical facade rising above Great Russell Street. By the mid-1800s, the museum had become a symbol of British imperial power, filled with artifacts taken from Egypt, Greece, and dozens of colonized territories. Visiting was free, allowing working-class Londoners to view treasures their labor had helped acquire. Christmas illuminations transformed certain streets into spectacles of light. This view shows Oxford Street in 1881, where shopkeepers competed to create elaborate window displays. Gas jets were arranged in intricate patterns, spelling messages and forming shapes. For children pressed against those windows, the displays must have seemed magical. Mechanical toys, imported sweets, books with gilt edges, everything a working-class family could never afford. The expansion of the railways changed Christmas fundamentally. This image shows King's Cross Station during the Christmas season of 1867. Opened in 1852, King's Cross connected London to the industrial north, and by the 1860s, thousands used the trains to travel home for Christmas, creating the first modern holiday travel rush. The railways also brought fresh food into the city, allowing even modest families to afford a Christmas goose or turkey. But the railways displaced thousands. Construction carved through working-class neighborhoods, demolishing entire streets with minimal compensation. Progress came at a cost, and the poor paid it. St. Paul's Cathedral at Christmas appears in this painting from 1872. Christopher Wren's masterpiece, completed in 1711 after the Great Fire, dominated the London skyline. On Christmas morning, the cathedral filled with worshippers, though seating reflected strict social hierarchy. The wealthy occupied pews near the front. The poor stood in the back. Around St. Paul's, Paternoster Row was London's center of book publishing. Christmas was peak season. Cheap editions of popular novels, religious tracts, children's books illustrated with hand-colored plates. The smell of printer's ink mixed with coal smoke and roasting chestnuts from street vendors. The Tower of London in winter served multiple functions. Still a royal fortress and armory, it housed the crown jewels and functioned as a prison. This view from 1845 shows the tower during a rare snowfall. By Victorian times, public executions had ended, but the building's history of imprisonment gave it a sinister reputation. Tourists visited even then, paying to see the crown jewels. Westminster Abbey at Christmas remained England's spiritual center. This painting from 1837 shows the Abbey during the Christmas season of Queen Victoria's coronation year. Inside, monuments to admirals, poets, and kings turned the building into a physical representation of British achievement. The Thames embankment, completed in 1870, fundamentally changed the river's relationship with the city. Before it, the Thames at high tide regularly flooded nearby streets. The embankment narrowed the river, created new streets, and crucially, contained Joseph Bazalgette's massive sewer system that finally separated London's waste from its drinking water. Covent Garden Market at Christmas becomes a different world in these paintings from the 1880s. What had been a fashionable square had transformed into London's primary market. At Christmas, it exploded with activity. Holly, ivy, and mistletoe from the countryside, oranges from Spain, exotic fruits from the Empire. Market porters worked through the night, but Covent Garden also had a darker reputation. After the market closed, the same streets became a refuge for London's desperate. Those with nowhere else to go slept in doorways and under arches. The proximity of wealth and poverty was never far from the surface. Victorian London at Christmas was simultaneously the world's richest city and home to some of its worst poverty. It celebrated Christmas as a time of goodwill while maintaining strict hierarchies that determined who deserved comfort and who deserved suffering. Through these reconstructions, we get just a glimpse of what it was like to walk those gas-lit streets, to see the Thames frozen solid, to press against shop windows displaying goods you could never afford. If there's another city, another moment in time, or a historic scene you'd like to see brought back to life, let me know in the comments and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Thank you so much for watching.